Hey, what's up? This is me, Al-Jib, and I'm kicking it with my boy Derrick Wali, and this is another gift from Dad.
My name is Derrick Wali. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, what's going on, man? So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Derrick Wali. I'm definitely a dad. Dad 4 times. I'm a husband, entrepreneur, and lifestyle coach.
Lifestyle coach.
Absolutely.
Lifestyle coach. Like, explain that. What is that?
My passion is to help people discover their own self-worth. Also, for people to understand, for me to teach them, for me to show them that you are not as good as you think you are. You're better.
You got children. How many children do you have?
I have 4 daughters.
4 girls?
4 girls.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Dang, man.
I have 4 daughters, age range from 2 years old up to 17. My oldest will be 18 tomorrow.
Hey, man, I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
I've been
I like that, man. So how old were you when you first had your first kid?
My first kid was my Amelia. Actually, my oldest daughter is not my biological, but she is my daughter, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Talk to me about that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So my wife and I, we've been together 10 years now. 10 years, probably a couple of weeks ago, actually. 10 years, and when we first met, obviously she had a kid and a little girl. Then she was 7 years old. Jalasia, our oldest. So we got together. Obviously, we became a family. A few months later, we got pregnant with my next daughter, who is 9 years old now, Amelia. We call her EJ, and and the family just kept growing from there.
Yeah, because with that though, you having us having the first child already, and a lot of guys, that's a red flag, or a lot of guys don't know how to deal with that. Now, how did you go about like dealing with how was the relationship with the father? Was her father around? Did you have to have any problems with that guy? Because how it be. You trying to raise my daughter? How did that work out?
It was none of that. He's never been in the picture. And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna act like it was all, peaches and cream, because that definitely wasn't the case. It was definitely some challenges at the beginning. Us coming together and them two being together, and then it's me, and then, Jalasia felt like he trying to come in, take my mom from me. So she was putting up a little bit of fight. So it was a challenge there, but we worked through it, man. We worked through it, and now if you ask anybody, that's mine, and if somebody asks about me, you know what I mean? She said the same.
And that's all it's supposed to be, man.
Absolutely.
It's for the children. They didn't ask to be here. And my father always told me that, because I got like a similar situation.
Right.
He always told me a child needs a father or a mother regardless. Biological or not, it doesn't matter. You just step up and be there for that kid. So
after her is my Madison, my butterfly, my energy, my butterfly, my unicorn, whatever she want to be for the day. Sometimes she want to be a rose. She's just so different, man. So different kind of kid, and she is 7.
Okay.
She's 7.
And then you got the baby.
My baby girl, little Parker.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of energy.
All right. Now you got a big gap from 18 to 2.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me the difference and the difference in parenting from a father point of view, the different age ranges? Like you got one that's about to be 18. You could speak to her about more adult things.
Right.
Then at the same time, the baby may run in the room, and you got to handle her too. So
right.
how do you handle that?
It takes a lot of energy and focus. I'll tell you that. Like, for example, when we have talks as a family, like just not too long ago, I had to talk with my daughters about, things that's going on with the family. So it'd be one big talk for everybody. Then, okay, girls, you guys go in the room. Now, Jalasia get more of what's actually going on. So you got to kind of decipher, who's going to get what kind of information. So you don't want to give the little ones too much, worry them and freak them out. So definitely make sure I'm giving that information accordingly.
You ever had a conversation about boys yet with those or something?
We have had a conversation.
How'd that go, man?
It went.
I know that could be tough, because as a dad, you probably be like, man, I'll kill one of these little mothers. But how do you even go about that? Because it's inevitable. They're going to get to the age where sex involved, kissing. as a father, how do you approach that, man? Because it's not as much as we want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do something to this
Right.
guy. Whatever.
Absolutely.
You can't do it. You got kids by mom, so you did it yourself, right?
Hey.
So how did you handle that, man? How do you handle that topic? How do you even approach that?
Well, I'll just give you the rundown
Mm-hmm.
because obviously she'll be 18 tomorrow. She didn't really start having friends or anything like that till probably 3-4 months ago.
Okay.
And she has a friend now to be tell you give you an idea what's going on. So the situation came up. She let me know one day she had a friend, and it was shocking to me because I never expected it. Never expected it in a million years. Obviously, she's coming of age now and things like that, but I was still blindsided by it.
Mm-hmm.
Completely blindsided. And she actually told me about it because of a dream that I had about her, which was really weird. So I had this dream one night that she was dating a female. She went off to college and she was dating a female. So I woke up like, hey, I think Jale's gay. Like, it was weird. Yeah, it was weird. It was real weird. She was like, what? No way. Because she had an inside scoop already.
Uh-huh.
She didn't really want to tell me about it. She wanted Jalasia to tell me. So that dream brought up an opportunity for her to tell, Jalasia, our oldest, like, hey, this is going on. It's an opportunity. You've been waiting for the time.
Now drop it to him now.
Now's the time.
His guard, his defense is down.
Right. So my wife, Julia, she set it up kind of perfectly, I'm not going to lie. She played it like she didn't know anything was going on. She said, maybe you should talk to her about this dream that you had that she was gay. So she was playing both sides of the field. So I went in there, into Jale's room. I'm like, hey, I had this dream, and and then you were gay. And she said, well, I'm not gay. Okay. So I'm like, okay, cool. Either way, I love you anyway. You know what I mean? No big deal. But she was like, but I like somebody. I'm like, I'm like, yeah. So I was stunned. I was shocked by it, and it was challenging.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it was really challenging. Her and him, they didn't know how to break it to me. They obviously wanted to keep me in a loop, and she didn't want our relationship to change. And but when she told me that, initially I felt like, okay, if anybody can handle something like this and stay focused, it's her.
Yeah.
And I pray that they all be, as great as she is. She wrote her own book. This is a book right here, by the way. She wrote this book while we were living abroad in Medellin, Colombia. My family and I, we moved out of the country. I was firefighting in Maryland, and we moved out of the country to Medellin, Colombia for a nice extended vacation. And while we were on that vacation, a lot of great things came out of it. My family coming together, becoming more unified, and also this awesome book that you guys need to buy by Jalasia Malik. It's called Salted Caramel. You can find it everywhere, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, you name it, it's there.
Is it important for them to feel like they're your friend, or you be friends with your child?
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because you want to be in that zone where they feel comfortable enough to tell you things. That's why I say to a certain extent. And if you see a kid flirting with that line, you got to reel them back. You got to let them know, like, hey. And I tell her, like, I'm the parent. Like, I tell her straight up, I'm the parent. Pump your brakes, chill out. That's not happening. My wife would tell her, too, if she getting too friendly, getting too familiar, we always just reel her back.
Okay.
Reel her back so she have that healthy respect for us, as she should. My girls are so loving. Like, Amelia is the next in line. She's my 9-year-old, and she's like a little me running around with locks, like she's intense, she's focused, and we have a really good relationship. We get along really well. We're able to talk about things. She likes to share her views of things with me. I like those. I love those conversations.
So how do you get her to open up? Do you even have that conversation with you? The viewers may want to know, like, because it's hard and not everybody equipped with the skills to approach children, to talk to them, and have them. Either you're too strict or you're too friendly. Like, how do you find the middle ground?
It's tough. It's challenging, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, but what I try to do is I try to get her lower her guard if that means me being silly, like, oh, Millie, what's going on?
Yeah, that's the approach I use.
Yeah, I go real silly, you know, to get her to drop her guard and say, oh, with that, such and such going on, this happened at school, XYZ. And then I go from there. I always use a way to lower her guard as an in.
Mm-hmm.
And then once their guards the defenses are down, you know, they just let you know what you ask. And now you alluded to this earlier about like the different personalities and things like that, and it can never be more true of her. Mm-hmm. Jalasia is reserved, very focused. Amelia is very similar, focused, and Madison is never know what you're gonna get out of her. It's a crapshoot. And sometimes, like as a parent, like you gotta be prepared for anything.
You know, mothers, they naturally, it's built in. They got the patience and stuff like that. Right. But you, like,
nah. Like, what? Where did I even come from? Well, Daddy, I was thinking, and she started doing all this, and I'm like, oh, it's over. I need help.
About to start. And then you got the youngest one after that, right?
All energy, all the time. But she's so affectionate, and that's something like my girls, we hug, we tickle, we play, and things like that. She's so affectionate. Anytime I come in the house, oh, Daddy, run up to me, hugging my leg and things like that, won't let go, and I'm dragging her around the house and things like that. So it's just, it's awesome. It's awesome, and I love our relationship.
What does it mean to be a father to you, man?
Everything. Everything. Absolutely everything. And I say that, and I learned this young. I wouldn't say I learned this young, but I yearned this probably as a newer father. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be so present in my kids' lives because my father was so absent.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So I learned how important it is for me to be active in their lives because I didn't have that.
So, like, how did that affect you, though, man? Your dad not being around, but because you know, a lot of us men, we bottle that up, and we're taught at a young age you can't even show no emotion. You're not supposed to care, and your dad not there. That really could affect you to the point where you may not even want a child, or you don't know how to do it.
It's funny enough that you say that. You made a lot of good points in there. I never pictured myself till we got together, my wife and I. Never wanted kids. Never even thought about it. Never crossed my mind. You know what I mean? I was the oldest sibling, so I had to already take care of them, and then my father was around, so I felt some kind of way. Never wanted kids.
So, what would you say are your biggest, the biggest obstacles or challenges? You know, being a father.
Patience. Absolutely patience. It's the biggest thing, especially for my mentality. My mentality doesn't always work. You know, that straightforward kind of mentality, it doesn't work, especially for my kind of kids. Not to say that just because they're females, just my kids and their personality, it doesn't work all the time. It can be effective when it's necessary for like disciplinary reasons, you know, talk in a certain tone, but that's not effective all the time. So you got to be able to switch gears and do whatever is appropriate for that time and that child.
How do you even pick the skills up, you think, to become the father that you are today?
I learned on the fly.
Yeah.
I learned on the fly, absolutely. Just like you try something, like you talked about it earlier about how do you get in and things like that. I just kept trying things until I figured out what worked. And if it worked out, that was my go-to. I was going back to it. But I definitely learned on the fly. I didn't have like anybody older to sit down and talk to me like, hey, this is being a parent's going to be about, you know, or this is how you should father, or this is what you should do in this situation. I never got that sit down, you know, so we got pregnant, and it was a shock for me.
How was that, man?
I was like, what do you mean? Like, how you know, how? Yeah. I'm like, pregnant? Like, for real? Like, are you serious?
So what we gonna do?
Yeah.
That's how it was?
Yeah, she let me know when it happened. She was like, yeah, this is what it is. You know, what you want to do.
So, well, see, evidently I made the best choice, man. I got a beautiful family in here.
Absolutely. You talked about something earlier, too, about, like, absent parents and stuff like that. And it's funny that when you said that, like, I thought about, it went back to 1702, you know what I mean? Like, me waiting for him in the parking lot, you know, saying, you know, he was going to come get me, that kind of stuff. Like, it brought up these negative emotions and these bad feelings of, you know, all my friends, like, you guys all going to Howard Wilson to play basketball. when I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting on him and things like that. Memories like that make me want to ensure that my kids don't have to go through that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not to bash him at all. It's the last thing I want to do is to judge him or demean his character, because for whatever reason he wasn't there. I'm sure if things were different, he would have been there. And but it just let me know that I want to be in my kid's life. So,
and on the the ironic part about it is, look at you. Everything that he did, didn't do, it's what made you who you are today.
Absolutely.
And that's the good. We don't never see that part. You know what I mean? We want to bash parents, especially our fathers, because a lot of them absent. And then people grow up blaming their dad for the way that they are, and then they end up being bad to their children. How do you feel about the fathers that aren't there for their children? Like, how do you feel about them guys, like, personally?
Personally, I feel like, I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons, but man, I can't make no excuses for that. You got to step up. You got to find some way. You know, I don't know if it's the issue with the mother. I don't know what it is, but you got to find some way to be active in your kid's life. You have to. It's a must. There's no excuses, no cop-outs, none of that stuff. Be in your kid's life. And in that case of giving advice, just understand it's going to be very challenging. Like, being a parent is no walk in the park by any means, especially if you're young, you know, with no experience. I would say just seek advice from people who have been in your shoes. For example, somebody who had a kid young and things like that, and just pick as many brains as you can of people who are good fathers. You know, and present in their kids' life.
I mean, when you say good father, that's relative, right?
I mean, it is absolutely relative, and it's based on your own perspective. But it gotta work for you. Like, I'm not gonna go to a person who opposite my character and parent the way they parent. I will go to somebody who's similar to me, who I see myself in sometimes, and I say, hey, big brother, how'd you do it? You know, and I would just ask them questions and try to figure it out, and also tweak whatever I'm taking from them to fit my style and how I want to go about parenting. I won't just copy paste type deal. You know what I mean? I would take what I can and leave what I don't want.
Are you one of the parents to, like, push them to, you know, you're gonna do what I tell you to do, or you just, you know, how do you go about that?
I tell them if they want to set themselves up for success, education is important. And education, what I mean by education, it's not a college degree, because that's not necessarily it. It could be a vocational school. It could be a seminar. It could be home study course. Yeah. There's so many ways to be educated. I think Google, YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways to become educated. It's just not sitting in the classroom. Not to knock anybody about college, because I have a bachelor's degree. It's not about that. I'm not knocking anybody to go to college, which is something that you hear all the time. You went to college and your degree's worth nothing. It's a piece of paper. I hear all that stuff. It's about what you do with that knowledge, because knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. What you do with it is what makes you powerful.
Yes, man.
So implement what you learn, whether it be, you got to take that out of the classroom, off the laptop, wherever you get it from, you got to actually implement it and take action.
What was your life journey?
My journey was I love my journey. I'm still on my journey. I'm embracing my journey, learning to embrace my journey, I should say. Right out of high school, I left and I went straight to the Navy. I was like, I want something different. I want to see something different outside of Newark, New Jersey, or Plainfield, or East Orange, or everything. I want to see something different. I want to experience something new. So I went right to the Navy.
That wasn't like scary, man.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying. But if you want different, you got to be different. Yeah. So I had to make a move and say, it's something else out there for me outside of New Jersey, and I wanted to go find that thing. And that thing took me all over the world, and I'm grateful for it. I went to the Navy right out of high school. After I left the Navy, I took a little break, did some college stuff, things like that. I worked a couple gigs, and then of course I met my wife-to-be, love of my life, and we started making all these babies. You know? so
yeah, that part. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, don't forget about that. So I wanted to put us in the best situation to win. You know, at this time, it was Jalasia, it was Amelia, and Madison was on the way, and I went ahead and I enlisted in the United States Army. And I still remember the day at MEPS, me me doing the deal or whatnot, and it wasn't too many choices at that time. This is 2010. Just summer 2010. Summer 2010, yeah. Wasn't too many choices. You guys know what's going on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And the recruiter told me, yeah, you score well, you got all this, blah, blah, blah. All we got is infantry. Take it or leave it type thing.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, you know, like, because we had talked about that. We talked about, like, communication. We talked about IT, desk job, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things that I can use on the outside whenever I got outside,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to take care of my family. Well, infantry came up, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So that worked out, and it actually worked out to our benefit. Getting that training and be able to experience some of those things, and I ended up, luckily enough, I got stationed right in DC. Love the DC area.
Uh-huh.
You know, I spent so much time in the DMV, and went to the DMV, and one thing I got to do that I'm very, very glad and grateful for. Before I got out of the Army, I got to train soldiers, and that's when I really discovered like my passion for teaching, coaching, and leading.
Okay.
I got to train soldiers, and for me to see someone come in and have no knowledge in your skill set, but you be able to lift them and elevate them up for them to learn and become proficient at these skills was just everything to me.
Yeah.
And even better, to teach someone, watch them become proficient, and see them teach someone else was just everything.
Like you did that. Like I did that.
Yeah, like it's just wow. It was just so powerful to see that, you know, transformation and see growth in people.
And what advice do you have for them young boys anyway too? That they don't like, they feel as though they have to prove something to their hood.
You don't gotta prove nothing to nobody, and it ain't your hood. You don't own nothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just real. Like get out of that mindset, because in that mindset it leads down a path of trouble, violence, death, incarceration. That's not what you want. And I don't want to discourage any of the young men out there. I want to uplift you. So I'm not gonna be saying things to bash you, but it's more out there for you. It's an opportunity for you to be successful, for you to be that person that you really want to be, instead of that person who's just good enough to fit in with the rest of the guys.
And you know, but it's tough when all you see on TV a lot is just the flashy this. You gotta have a girl with the fake butts and all this stuff like that, and that's tough on kids, man. They see that shit, they think this is what I need. This is what I'm gonna strive for.
Absolutely.
They don't understand that it's a lot more accessible to them if they just apply themselves.
Absolutely.
So what are some services you think you could put in place, you know, to help change that? Even, you know, bring us fathers together, you know, and get these kids out the street, get them out of that mindset.
I would say, like you said, having men that they can look up to in the community, being active, and you can do it by different ways. Like you can do it with athletics, stuff like that. You can use music. You can use all kind of things. So, like I do with my daughters, lower their guard and get on in there. You know what I mean? And funny enough, I actually used to. I've done a few things. You asked me a question about what I've done in my past, but I used to be I used to work sometimes as a substitute teacher and as an assistant teacher in some of the middle schools. And anytime I had an opportunity, I would grab one of these young guys up and I would talk to them. I would share with them stories about people that I've known who, you know, was living a similar life, who, you know, it didn't work out well for them. I would pull them to the side and I would tell them, like, basically plead with them, like, young brothers, this is not what you want. You can do so much better. You can be so much better.
Yeah.
And I'm here to help. If you need me, call me.
And we need that, man, because it's like, especially a young black man, you know, it's rare that you see that, especially as a teacher. As young black kids, we see a black man as a teacher. That give us hope. And I really truly believe that, you know. I mean, you know, women play a big role in our lives, but, you know, they got so many women empowerment groups and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I think that we need a lot more men involved in things. So, you know, what are some things that you would change that you think that you didn't do as well as you should have been doing?
It's a good question. That's a good question. A part of me feels like it may sound cliche, but you don't want to change anything you've done because you are who you are because of what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel real strongly about that, but I would say just more patience.
Okay.
Just more patience and understanding. The biggest thing for me and my relationship with my daughter.
So how do you deal with all these different personalities? You got 4 daughters, and it's just you in the house, the husband,
Yeah.
the man in the house.
Yeah.
This 5 different women personalities coming at you. You got any advice on that, man? How do you deal with that?
Hey, man, you got to be able to wear how many females in your house? That's how many hats you got to be able to throw on.
Yeah.
All right. So if you got one that's super focused, when she come up to you, daddy, XYZ, you got to throw that on and you know, get the show on.
You got to learn karate.
You got to be ready to go. There's definitely no days off, no, you know, nothing easy about being a father with 4 daughters.
Yo, how important is travel for your children? You said you was in Medellin. That's like different, bro. Like, how did you even come up with the idea to just go? What made you just say, you know what, I'm gonna just go here and do this? And how important is that travel for your children for them to see?
Travel is everything, and for me, I believe, you know, a lot of times, especially in America, in this country, in the United States of America, and people might not agree, but it's like you guys I can't say you guys. People are looking to...
American?
Right. I didn't catch myself. I think Americans as a society in general is just... how can I explain it? It's like looking through a keyhole when you can kick down the whole fucking door. Like, why is that only what you want to see? The whole world's out there.
Yeah.
It's not just America. It's just a very, very small part of the world. And you're missing out on so much if you don't take the opportunity to get your passport, which is easy, hop on a flight.
Mm-hmm. And actually, the flight is cheaper than a weekend out. Hey, where's your flight? For real.
Yeah, for real.
But they don't have people like you to tell them that, man, you know.
Travel is everything. You hearing it now. Get that passport, go down to the post office, it costs like $100.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a night at the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a night at the bar. Get your passport, takes a couple weeks, and go hop on a flight. Not just to Miami.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Miami.
People want to go to Vegas.
Right. Not just Vegas, Miami. Not H-Town. I love H-Town. I love it. But yeah, go see something else. Go see something different. Go to South America. Go to Spain. Go to Germany. Go learn some Deutsch. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get overseas too, man. I want to go to Nepal.
Yeah.
Find one of the mountains.
Hey,
you know, that's that. I want to go backpack over there for a little bit.
With you.
Yeah, find get my spiritual awakeness.
Hey, expand that consciousness.
Yeah, I want to have an aura around me when I walk. Yeah.
Like what's his name? Last Dragon. What's his name?
Yeah. Show nothing.
Yeah.
Who's the master? Let me walk around like that, man. But yeah, bro. So. All right. You know, pretty much we didn't cover a few things. So, what's a legacy you would love to leave behind for your children?
You can have, do, and be anything you want. Absolutely, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that shit. And you asked me about us going to Medellin, Colombia. When we made the decision to go to Medellin, Colombia, we didn't even have passports.
Mm.
We didn't even have passports. You know what I mean? Like it was no plan, it was inspired thought meets inspired action.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the summer we left 2016. Summer 2016. We didn't have passports. We were kicking around the idea, we have this timeshare that I've had like 10 years. It was like, yeah, why don't we use the timeshare, go to South America or something. I heard something about Medellin is coming up. I'm like, whatever, we'll go there for Christmas or something like that. But a lot of things were happening in the country.
Scary, man.
It was a scary time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. It was a lot going on. It made us feel real uneasy. And at the time, it was also I felt like I was an absent father. Like I just left the military. I was a firefighter at the time. I was working like crazy hours. You know what I mean? To, you know, make things happen. And a little side note, me being a firefighter, that was something I really wanted to do in my life. And my wife backed me up on it like 100%. We went from making X amount to half amount.
Okay.
But it was something I really wanted to do, and she backed me up on it. And I told her, like, you know, I'm going to do this overtime to make sure we still eating good. So I was away. So there was that. It was the burnout. It was what was going on in the country, and we made the decision September 2016. Like, we just gonna go. We just gonna go. So what we did was we got everything that we needed. Everything else we sold all our shit, like everything.
Yeah.
We had suitcases, probably like 7, 8 suitcases. At this time, our baby girl was 1 year old, Parker, and we packed our family up. We got on that plane and we went to Medellin, Colombia. We lived out there for 6 months.
And now that's beautiful, man. I wanna go back to you and you talking about that being an absent father, man, and that is, I believe that's tough because I'm a dad. And them time is something you can never get back.
Exactly.
And I feel as though time is the only thing that a child actually needs from their parents, you know. And so, talk to me more about that. How important is it? Is it more important for you to like, hey, I'm going to go work these 15-hour days to make X amount of money, or is it more important for you to be there for them at them graduations and, you know, things like that? You know?
Crazy story about how we met. We met on the highway, right? I was coming up to New Jersey. This was March 2008. I was coming up to New Jersey. My Aunt Candy was having a birthday party that weekend. It was like the 20th, something like that. And so I'm coming up, you know, heading up to New Jersey, bump to bumper traffic. At this time, we living in the Hampton Roads area, Norfolk, Virginia area, because I had left the Navy and I just kind of stayed put. And she had a place over there, and she was riding too. And I happened to see her on the right of me. You know, I'm in my Dodge Charger at the time. The first one I had, I think it was the blue one.
Yeah, the blue one.
I
remember that.
Yeah, that was my baby. Yeah, so I'm riding, you know, feeling good, looking good. And she pulls up to the right. We bumping a bump in traffic. And I see her, and I just could not take my eyes off her. Like, I joke about it, and I say, like, yeah, she was staring at me and all that tough guy bullshit.
Yeah.
I just could not. Like, I was just locked in on her. I just could not. Like, it was like, she was like, you know how magnets, like, they just pull to each other.
In traffic,
there's nothing you can do.
It's like, fuck it.
I was in. I was locked in. You know what I mean? It may sound cliche, but I was locked. I was all the way locked the fuck in. And I was kind of reckless at this time too, like real reckless. So I'm writing my number down on a piece of paper, and I'm trying to head it to her through the window. She's like, nah, pull over at the next stop. So we did. We pulled over the next stop. It was a 7-Eleven. We got to talk and exchange numbers the right way. And first thing I said to her when she hopped out the car, I was like, damn, I didn't know you had it like that. All she could do was just laugh. Like, her trying to be cool, just out the window. You know what I mean? So she got in the car, we chopped it up, we exchanged numbers. Told me I was lost, you know, which I was. And,
you didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah, I was lost. And in a lot of ways, I was lost, not just physically, but metaphorically, I was lost too. And, you know, she ended up calling me a few hours ago, which is something that I don't know if that happened.
Yeah, because that's kind of quick. Like,
yeah, she called me. I was at a gas station pumping gas, and she called me like, "Hey, I'm just checking in on you." I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, I like this."
And she actually was like concerned with you.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That was big, and ever since, man, we've been rocking it. And to be honest with you, man, I want to inspire people out there and let people know that it's okay. It's okay to be fully immersed in a relationship. It's okay to be, you know, into somebody 100%, because the perception is to be only 60, 70, 80% invested because you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But I say, fuck that bullshit. Go all the way in, and if it don't work out, you cross that bridge when you get there. You know, as long as she don't shoot you on the way out, life goes on.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Be all the way invested in that shit and give yourself the highest possible percentage to succeed in that relationship. Like, go all in. If you're looking for me, I'm everywhere you are on social media. Derrick Wali. So that'll be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. Yeah, I got a Tumblr. Google Plus. Snapchat. Got one of those. I'm everywhere that you are on social media, Derrick Wali. You can also reach me at my website, www.derrickwali.com, or even by email. Even reach me by email at connect@derrickwali.com. A lot of great stuff going on. Also, the opportunity I want to tell you guys about, you can learn about on my website, derrickwali.com. All right, it's a tab on there that you can find out about the opportunities about partnering with me. It's called Partner Up with Derrick Wali, and that's on the tab on my website, derrickwali.com. All the way to the right, you can't miss it. Learn about things that I'm doing, speaking engagements, coaching, opportunities to earn residual income, like what I'm doing with this right here, boosting opportunities. So please, I'm so available, guys. I'm everywhere you are on social media, and remember, you are not as good as you think you are. You are better.